Okay, and we're live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to TFC with Mike Season 2, Episode 7. So it's the mid-raid review and a little bit of a roundup. Evening, everybody on the paddle, and evening, everybody in chat.
Good evening.
Evening.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Good. So let's have a quick check then. So obviously myself, TSM's in. I think Liam's coming on in a bit. Hulsh is in, which is good. Stu's in. Monster's in. Oh, we've got two Stews, look. We've got Pete in. Imri's in. Obviously George is in. Brian's in. And Nines is in. So I think we've got one slot to go.
Wait, what the fuck? Where's two Stews? Oh,
So,
Jesus Christ.
Monster and Stu himself. Stu as Stu and Monster Stu. So there we go.
No fight.
No fight, yeah.
Was my mic unmuted? Shit.
Come back to the arena at 10 pieces.
My
So
bad.
the normal stew is stew number 2 now.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I don't care, to be honest.
I'm
Let's
just
call
monster, mate. It's
let's call Monster. It's easier that way, isn't it? Yeah. So,
yeah.
he's always been Monster, so let's just leave it at that. So, anyway, look, let's stop rambling and let's get on with it. So, somebody start on the raid. Go on, because I'm in the middle of playing the game and still prepping for people. So, somebody kick it off.
All right. Well, as you know, I've just come back to the game. I've got the Ironclads, and with the demo crew, I managed to pump out about 15 mil for about 100 coin, which I didn't think was too bad.
Mhm.
And then you come along and kindly helped me with the other half, which was sweet. But yeah,
And not murking. I did it for free.
yes, you did. But yeah, I didn't think that 100 coin for 15 mil ain't too bad. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually quite reasonable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Now, what are you hitting? Just wondering.
Just A sets, mate. The set, the M70s, is it? Yeah, 71. And
Okay.
I'm not.
I was gonna, if you go down a set, if I remember right, it should cut your spending in half for the same amount of points.
He's done no more.
I know guys that are hitting 59s right now, anywhere 100K to 140K, just autoing them with those ironclads and just doing it nonstop. Someone's at 21 million, hasn't spent a single coin.
Nice. Well, that's a good tip for next raid, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's good.
It is good, though.
So did we get some confirmation today? We did. And Rem was going to come on if he gets a chance, but I think he was getting nagged by his wife to go out. No, nagged was not the right word. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But suggested that he coerced. That's the word. Yeah, there you go. See, that's yeah. So, but I did put a question, and there was a chat question that came up on the page today about the raid cycles and the raid format. So please acknowledge everybody that obviously we are 1 month short on the cycles as of this year, and so we're going to go into a new type of raid next month, which is actually not going to be a whole raid. It's going to be a store, a raid store, which will mean you can pick up lots of different things. So not only can you pick up specials, you can probably pick up turrets. You can also pick up hulls that you've not used before. It'll be a collection of things rather than just a standard whole raid. So, and that's going to happen 3 times a year.
Well, can I clarify? It's going to be the same type of raid. It's just that it's not going to be a hull store. What they're going to, it's going to be. I mean, I think originally they were calling it a super store, and you know, a lot of players have been complaining that the tech is not available. Like Kickstarter's not making tech available, and they're holding everybody back. And they're listening, and they decided that they're going to change the hull raid to a tech raid type thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think.
Yeah. So now you can actually catch up and get that tech depth that some of the other players have. That let them do some of the things like Mark's doing right now on his game.
So yeah, so I'm trying to multitask here.
Yeah, so
that's a really good thing, because this raid I had a choice of the new base hitter or the ship which like Mark's got. So I had to go with the base one, though, but I wouldn't have minded getting that as well, or at least the tech which goes on that ship, like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, and I think when we get a bit closer to next month's raid, we'll probably put up a request list from the players and see what they're really, really keen on having in that tech list, because I know they'll listen and they'll go, because they like to give players what they feel they are short of, and if they don't put it in there, they'll give us a reason of why it's not going there, because obviously the direction of the next raid format, which we know after this tech raid that's coming up next, look at us, we're already talking about March, will be a garrison format. So Bear that in mind.
And the best thing is we can all jump to Alpha to take care of the bug again.
Now. I just
Have
got
you
the camera
seen that
clips.
thing?
So, yeah, that was what I was going to mention about that basically. So there is not only we lost a month, but actually a format at the end of the cycle is going to adapt. I think actually, to be honest, one of the last cycle last year was actually a tech store, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm getting scattered here. I'm not taking any notice. Trying to do two things at once.
No, it's that splash. It's that increase in splash. See, that's the kind of lazy driving you could get away with on the first day that you can't now.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's not a lot. It wasn't a lot of a change, but it was a slight change to it.
I'm getting a bit of lag as well, but it's just not helping. But hey, not to worry.
Speaking of the tech store, has there been any word about the Garrison Hall yet?
No, nothing at all yet, mate. To be honest. I have. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I've not heard anything yet at all, buddy. I don't know if anybody else has.
No, I've not yet. I just know that it's definitely Garrison, and I'm not even sure that they're letting it out a month early yet. I haven't even asked.
So who hopes it's not 90 million?
Oh God, yeah, that's a point, isn't it?
Silence.
I don't think that that's going to change. I honestly think it's going to. I think they want the first people getting it to be very limited, just like last time. I don't think that's going to change. I don't know if it's going to be 90. I don't know if it's going to be more. I don't know if maybe the raid's hard. Like I have no idea how they're going to control that. But I know that. I mean, they flat out said it last time. They came out and said it. They wanted the first. They wanted it limited. And what did they said in the forums, that it was either going to be this or top X amount of players or something like that?
Yeah, it was like top 1,000 or something like that, or so many in each world.
I don't know. I know that one of the mods had said it in the forums, and I wasn't sure. I can't remember what they had said, but I know that there was two options to limit it. And it was either a high price or just a flat
Top
out
say
limit.
3,000.
Yeah, from a business sense, I know which one makes sense. If you do limit it, say top 3,000, and the top 3,000, there aren't 3,000 players that actually bother doing it. Then they're going to look a bit silly.
Hey, as long as they don't lock it behind a PvP hall that some of us don't use.
Yeah, can't imagine why you said that.
I didn't mind it personally. I didn't mind it personally.
I think you like hitting bases, don't you, George?
Not really. It's not. I don't hit them like I used to. Not even close. But
No, I don't either. I have to
the
say.
thing is I would much rather have that than have it locked at 3,000. Because like right now, I'm a little over 200 million points. Right, I'm in the top 200, I think, globally, and almost all of those points. Almost all of those points have been prepping. Okay, so I could either prep and help out a lot of people, or they can do it to the top 3,000, and then all of us are going to be battling. And I'll double my points to 400 or 500 million of points that I'm not going to use just to get into the top 3,000. It just seems wasteful. I would much rather have 100 million to reach for the hull, and that's it. Be done.
And especially going by this rate, the top 3,000 might be 200-300 million.
Well, you're without doubt.
I'm already at 200 million, man, and it's what, Saturday. I've been messing around most of the day, and all those points. I think the first 30 million I did myself, and then after that, the next 170 million were all preps.
Yeah, if they're going to make it 90 million either way, then putting a hole in front, well, okay, it's basically a bonus. It's either that or the Cannoneers. Yeah, better than nothing. And if they made it 3,000, that would just piss everybody off, because then someone like me who doesn't coin, what chance do I have? Like, people are gonna. I'm sure there are people with really good fleets that spend money and do well, and all sorts of stuff that are just gonna get those 3,000 spots, or people that will want to run their points up to assure themselves a spot in 3,000 to the point where I wouldn't be able to compete without spending money. My fear is that even if they make it a lot of points, they're limiting the tech, but they need to tune the targets for at least the first raid of the next cycle to that. Like, the players that spent 90 million should be rewarded with a relatively easy raid because of their investment. And that didn't happen this time, not by a long shot. It wasn't like, especially with the whole cannon falter roll out and how much stronger each cannon was than the preceding ones that we owned. Between those two things, it just made it incredibly difficult for anyone that didn't have the Cannoneer to do all that well in the first raid of the cycle, even though it was higher tech. And if you had lower than the Cannoneer, you were completely screwed, and it's terrible. So they need to tune the targets properly, and they're not.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. The way that the power of the Cannoneer stepped up from what we had to the Millennium to having the H-Can. That's a really good point.
But remember, guys, they weren't going to base the first raid on Millennium Cannoneers. They said it.
Centurions all the way.
And Brian, there's also a second point in there, is the fact that they made that a two-tier or two-path prize system, based on the early release. The Cannon, if you didn't get the Cannoneer with the 90 million, you had to, you couldn't get the Alpha. Not that the Alpha's that great, but it seems like those people were automatically excluded.
Well, even for me, like, I got the Cannoneer, but I didn't buy the Alpha for a few reasons. One was I finished what I wanted to get by the very, Sunday night, I think, for me, where it ends at Monday midday. So I didn't have the time to get 15 million. And I wasn't really sold on the Alpha because I couldn't get the weapon in special, and they were making such a big deal out of, you need the weapon in special, that if I can't get either because I didn't get the Millennium, because I didn't spend $10, then what's the point? And yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself now, but it's not like I'm a complete idiot and was completely illogical there, I don't think. I'd like to see it back in March, but no.
No, I'm not giving you a hard time about not getting it. What I'm saying is, if you make the next, we'll just call it the Cannoneer for Garrison Cycle, if you don't make that Uber exclusive, and then create a two-tier system where if you didn't get it in the Uber exclusive release, you couldn't get what the other prize was. You couldn't get the Alpha at all, even if you didn't have it. So it basically, the next raid made the assumption that people had it. And that's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with that 100%.
I mean, if they just made it a bundle for 90 million, instead of getting like a Zoe's Vendetta for 90 mil, you got whole weapon special. You think that would have been better?
Yeah, the release was mucked up, and they said that, and they said they wouldn't do it again either. So let's see if they stick to their word.
Yeah,
because
let's see.
that was an acknowledgement, definitely, that it was a bit messed up the way it was delivered. Yes, the hole was there, and it should have come with all the bits, and we couldn't wait. So we couldn't build, and then we had to wait, and then it didn't turn up in the right time, and then we had to use. Yeah, we could have it, but we had to go and buy it and that sort of stuff. Which is goddamn annoying. You shouldn't have to spend your way out of a mistake when it's not our mistake.
Here.
I would be happy. I would be happy. Oh, go ahead.
Well, mate.
I'd be happy paying 90 mil for weapon special and hull. That's all I meant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. Look, if it was 90 million for the hull and then 20 million and 30 million, I mean, here's the thing. So long as we actually get something worthwhile out of actually getting it that early and doing the work for it, I'm okay with it, because they do want to limit it. And I'd rather have a higher cost and have the ability to get it, or the option to get it, rather than be locked out of it because I can't coin as much as someone else.
Yeah, I get you.
If that's the two choices, I mean, that's kind of what I would lean towards, because I don't coin.
It's right saying that, but players who would not normally coin, say if they wanted this hull but didn't get the Cannoneer, have got no chance of getting it, mate.
Well, I'm saying for the next month, right? Like next month, if they come out and they go, okay, here's the Garrison hull, right? And we're going to make it only the top, say, 3,000, 1,000 players. That's all we want to have it. It's going to end up being whoever coins the most. That's really what's going to happen. And I mean, from business sense, like Mark said, it makes more sense because people will spend more that way. However, I think in the long run, it's not a good idea because it would disenfranchise the rest of the community. So, I don't know. And I'm biased. I like the idea of going, hey, here's the goal. If you can hit the goal, bully, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree with George 100%.
Don't make us spend, but give us the option to make it easier.
Yep.
I mean, if you have a set goal, if you know what your goal is, you can plan, you can mitigate your cost a little bit. You can choose if you want to cost. You'll have an idea of how much it would cost you rather than going into it unknowing. And then, you know, if you happen to be like one of those people that are like 10 shy of hitting it, how pissed off are you going to be? Are you going to want to coin the next week? No. You know?
No.
I mean,
or we might have one of those players that gets 4 billion points in a raid for nothing.
That's true. Yeah. Which is frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
I just hope they don't start doing lots of holes like this, because again, it'll just the difference in power players will have will be unreal. Like if like you've got 3,000 players with the best defense ships in like the game, and then you got the rest of us who haven't yet. You can come and destroy our base, but we've got no chance.
Well, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it with defense fleets and
no, it'll be raiding fleets.
Conqueror, yeah, it'll be just the raid fleet, the one that you need for the next cycle.
Yeah, which I get that, but I'm just saying I hope it just stays that on that side of things, like
not on the PvP side. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, because they've only done this once before. They only did it once before, and it was very much a support haul. The Destroyer ECM was the only other time they've done that. Besides the first 4 raids, it was 1 person per sector, and then the second 4 raids, it was the top 4 people per sector. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah, oh my God, that was 5 years ago now, or 4 years, 4 and a bit years ago.
Yeah. So I don't know how it would work in today's game. I don't think it would work out well, but
I don't think the community would really like that a great deal, to be honest. I think the game's moved on from those days, to be honest. I don't think they would be content with that.
Yeah, not now, but
yeah.
Now,
management is everyone gets everything these days.
Yeah,
but you're ready.
And speaking of kind of something everyone doesn't like from what I've saw, have you guys heard about this TLC that we're supposedly getting in a week?
Yeah, which is designed to assist people ranking their pride, apparently, because obviously now it's the first of the big new conquerors, and you can't rank on salves, which has surprised quite a few people.
I was shocked.
Even though
so if you get pride to get in,
so you're not aware, that's a valid point, and it's something really important. Okay, and it's not a newsbreaker; it's just the first time that this is actually going to take effect. So this is the first time that you will not be able to rank a conqueror on salvage ships.
Literally in large orange text below the picture in the raid briefing. Then again, if you think about it, it's based on the VXP you get is based on the armor that you have. This hull has 125,000 armor. You're getting 1, maybe 2 VXP per cargo that you kill. So it's going to take long anyways. Also, I'm looking at the post that you just mentioned. In campaigns like War Games or for base targets like the upcoming faction campaign next week, hint, hint.
Yeah, that was Doom, wasn't it?
I do not see the words time limited in there.
Nope.
So I'm going to hope that it's not, because if it is, who would do it? Who could do it? Almost nobody. There'd be no point. So maybe it's dependent on the faction, and maybe it would technically be there till the end of the month. Well, that would still be pretty bad. Maybe the end of next month?
Yeah, because if the Pride can do it, they're building it around the Pride, how many of the other Conquerors are actually going to be able to do it? Just wondering.
Basically 0?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
The limited flagships, maybe? Like you have a Zoe's Vend, because one is about 2.5 with its buffs, and 4 Prides. Maybe?
Well, I mean, we've all been probably hit by the unranked prides. I've seen better performance.
I'm still waiting.
Fury and other stuff. So I don't know that potentially partially ranked halls from tier 5 may not be superior in this. I don't know. We don't know anything about it. But I'm just saying, in regards to all the base hits that I've seen using that hall, I wouldn't disqualify any of the tier 5s from being able to perform well.
Well, you must first answer how many prides are in the fleet that are attacking you. I've had a few people come in with one, and don't do that, kids.
It's not a good. It's not a good game.
Do not do that. You're gonna have a bad time.
I was just about to say, I was actually hoping myself to actually use a mix of maybe 2, 3 at a push.
Yeah.
But judging by what I've seen recently from base hits and that, the more the merrier, which I kind of dislike. I really don't like the idea of that. But I know you have to gain the extra deflection. So
also, no rank on them. Pretty bad damage.
So, what are you guys' ideas on like some defenses since you saw them hit?
Well, I was just about to say as well. I mean, rank to me wouldn't have bothered me. It doesn't matter how much rank I have on the ship because I always use the ships as a spotter with one weapon, and I fit out with gales or whatever I want. I've never actually ran the correct weapon type on the correct ship since they brought out the Conquerors, apart from the Vendetta. That's the only one I built correctly. As for defense, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, from the videos I've seen of them, the only thing that really looks like they work is shockwaves, mate.
Yeah, Option 1 is hope they suck and bring in only one and then it dies. The second best option, I'm putting D98Us on my Vanquisher and I'm going to put on the fusion charger.
Yeah,
the
there's
fusion
a couple
charger
of
that makes it shockwave damage. Just try for the biggest shockwave I can and hope it
and
works.
accuracy as well.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. Like you guys have said, I've heard antipodes. There is some people saying like missiles, stuff like that, and saying that missiles are going to be their best bet. Just going in there for a couple of them. Now, I don't know about 4 or 5, but I think someone in the forums even said something about a D98.
D98U, that's the antipode launcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, they were saying D98 missiles. That's what I was saying.
This was the rest of us not biting on that crap.
I was about to say,
that
if
one.
he was suggesting to you that you needed to use D98, then you need to ask him what his cracked it as number is because he has some seriously good shit.
He's referencing a thread, man. I'm not touching that.
Well, he did bring up an important point in the middle there somewhere, wherein if they have like 4, their deflection against missiles is going to be incredibly high, and people are considering running like rhinos with scorias and just buffing the damage as high as you like and this and that. And against 1 pride, maybe 2, yeah, that's going to work. But against 3, 4, no.
I've got 5 built now. All done.
Well,
Ready to go.
That 4th is almost done.
You need the critical hits from missiles to make them do anything. Because if they don't crit hit, then they're not doing anything. But they're a little bit better than everything else other than like the launchers or maybe some Tide Seekers with high concussive damage.
But as far as things that people may already have in their dock, you could potentially replace some of your Vanquishers with some old Enforcers that probably already have antipodes on them and just do a quick switch and allow you to refit your Vanquishers in the meantime.
Daisy cutter.
AA4.
Well, put 2 of them in.
AA3. Eat it.
Mad.
Come at me, bro.
But I'm just saying, as far as a no-cost potential short-term solution, some Enforcers, because the Enforcers are actually a better offensive haul than the Vanquisher.
Yeah, but the problem with Enforcers is you could literally sneeze and they'll fall over and die. So you have to find something a little bit tankier than that. I don't think Vanquishers are the answers because they don't have enough launcher slots on them. But at the same time, I would say almost are either.
Well, but this doesn't have unreactive. There's no
I would
unreactive on this hull.
Valiants with D98s would work. You got enough there to actually cause a shockwave, and it's tanky enough right in between both Enforcer and Vanquisher.
The only problem is, though, if you start throwing Enforcers and stuff back in like your base, mate, you're going to be open to other fleets.
Let's not worry. I got a funny feeling next month already we're going to see another defending hull. Anyway, we should see our first tier 6 defender, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm expecting a turret in tier 5.
It's a good game. It's a good laugh. We want another turret because obviously the big mort is good fun, isn't it? You know, we're quite liking that one, the cat mort, and we're expecting something to replace something else long range as well, maybe, or a new frontline turret would be quite decent. A new scatter, maybe, or a new format. I don't know, something or other. But something's due up. We're about to, so
yeah,
it's not going to let you to and fro too much. The seesaw's not going to wane too far in one direction. They've got to keep it fairly balanced. So,
can anyone think of a plasma scattergun?
Die in a fire.
Plasma scattergun. You mean like the oh god, what was it? The burst ray?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, the vulture never came to anything, did it? We never thought that, but there are other things out there. So,
the burst ray. It's a short-range energy shotgun weapon from Vega Conflict.
Okay, I'm like, is that a
game I've never played?
No, if I were talking Doom, it would have been the BFG 9000.
Exactly. That would be the new corrosive turret. That'd be awesome. It has a multi-shot one, but who cares?
Hey, I still say give us the launcher turret from the Scourge targets.
Oh, the Davy Crockett.
Yeah, but I think the 9600 assault DPS on the Pride is already your plasma scattergun.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It's funny, isn't it? You build a new hull, and I've built obviously these prides now and that stuff, and they're not ranked, and I'm not freaking calling ranked. And anybody that does that is absolutely insane or on something special. But I'm still loath to go out and use them just yet. I don't know why. I don't know. I've built them; they're ready to go and that sort of stuff. But I'm just like,
is it the lack of rank?
Yeah, I think it probably is. No, I've had somebody hit me. Someone from Gimp's come and hit me. That sort of.
Hey, Mark.
One prep and another hit, but
you know what you could always do is just go around and hunt all those nice Hallock Tide Seekers that are hiding underneath Drac bases.
I could do because I could annihilate them.
PvP, yeah, PvP is PvP, and you'll gain rank.
Or better yet, you could go use them. What I was thinking, if I get them this raid, I'm going to be using them not for hitting bases, but supporting for Hyperions.
Yeah. Tell you what.
But do you get VXP for that? Do you get VXP for that?
You kill the ships. Yeah, if you kill the ships, you must. I don't know. Yeah, you kill the. Sure, if you kill the mega hull, that's a base.
If you kill a mega hull, I don't know that you get VXP.
You should.
Ooh, that's a great one. You should do.
You've earned it.
I don't know.
Because you were told it was classed as a base. I have to say, have you seen these things, by the way, killing sub-fleets? Because the sub-torpedoes don't do anything to them.
Oh, I saw a video where it was a Cobra scattergun
sniping these prides, by the way, with subs of any description whatsoever, because you ain't going to do well. I promise you.
What about six torps? Six torps.
It doesn't make difference, mate. It doesn't make no matter what. Every fleet I've seen so far that's tried to snipe a pride has basically it's not even dented it. And the pride, they split their prides up basically, and they get the pride full, and then basically the torpedoes are just smashing the prides, and they're just waiting for the people to surface, and then just annihilating their subs.
I was watching a base hit on one of the Gimps guys last night, and he had 5 Hellrafts in his base guard fleet, and he actually killed all the prides that were attacking his base.
Did he?
So I guess with a proper build, he was overcoming that deflection somehow.
Interesting. Who put the base? Who put that video up? Was it? I think it was Pain Train. I think it was.
Yeah, the Cobra scattergun.
There was a couple of clips in the middle where a couple of people were trying to obviously snipe and with as people always do, you know. If someone's hitting you and they're outside and that sort of alliance, they try and obviously snipe the fleet getting in again. And the subs did nothing to the prides, from what I could see in the video anyway. So. I was giggling to myself. I thought, these are sunk. And then when, my God, they got dented in the damn thing. So unless they were just firing B-torps at them or something, I don't know. But anyway, it is what it is. Right. So is everybody getting the prize thereafter, by the way? Just out of interest?
Honestly, I'm just using this raid as practice for when the map targets change.
That's a good point.
George, that's a great segue. Yeah, I was going to say that's a great segue. So one of the things that I was discussing with a couple of people the last couple of days actually was it started as a discussion about the increase or alleged increase in damage in the targets, and I had run a 73 on auto for the ironclads because the 73 is the one that we're thinking is going to be a map target because it's a forced entry, right?
Yeah, logically.
Same spot. So, and there's not any big hangups where if you auto, you're going to get caught on something surfacing or anything. So it to me was logically a logical thing to test to see how they do on auto. So the first day I tried them, and I hadn't, my ironclads were half ranked, and I was using a Deadeye Destroyer crew, and I took, I think, an hour and a half damage. And I was like, well, okay, so it should get better if I get some rank, and, you know, you're going to be doing these on the map. Let's see how it's going to really be. I got the tokens. I ranked everything up. Full rank, went in there. Same damage 2 days later, which, you know, might say, hey, there's a damage increase. The problem I have is in either situation, when these go to the map, how are they going to be tuned? Because an hour and a half damage in raid is 3 hours of damage in game, and the ironclads is supposed to be our auto thing. So are our expectations overblown with regard to the ironclads because of the Tideseeker, perhaps? Because the Tideseekers, you know, we go in and we auto crap, and it's like minutes of damage. You know, like 19 minutes of damage or something, or 14 minutes of damage.
I mean, splatting the 102s, yeah, it's a classic thing. I mean, I'm even getting people in my alliance now to build Tideseekers even now, because obviously the U targets have changed, and I'm saying that they're the things to do, you know.
So if these targets go to the map, and we're taking 3 hours of damage, you know.
No, I don't know.
I don't think the ironclads, but that's what I'm afraid of is I don't think the ironclads were meant to perform as well as the Tideseekers. So in this raid, I've been telling a lot of people, get the Cannoneer instead, because it really is not that much driving, and it's really simple to do those targets with the Cannoneers now, right?
But even like it's nice to go into it's nice to go into a 102 still and just be really lazy, or do it on your phone when you're out and about and that stuff, and just go, yeah, auto, you know. And you got your Tideseekers built right. I know, you know, Nines likes his Calamities or whatever it is you're using, that sort of stuff, and I use Garwoods. But the point is, it's nice whatever you're using, and none of us are getting more than half an hour's damage, and you're getting a 47k payout.
Yeah, I'm getting 14 minutes.
Yeah, in you know, whatever you're getting and that sort of stuff, and it's just being just on pure auto and doing nothing else. It is quite nice to be able to do that, and you'd like to be able to do something similar when we change the other targets for whatever ballistic siege hull is required.
The catch that I have with this is that if these targets are tuned down so the ironclads can perform as well as the Tideseekers and the uranium targets, the Cannoneers are going to excel then on auto, because they'll outrange them and kill the turrets before they get in range. They'll take 0 damage that way. So I'm not sure exactly what they can do. So I'm just saying, from what I'm seeing right now, I'm.
Do you know what I'm hoping they're going to do? I'm going to hope it so they make the Zealous the go-to hull for it, because it's supposed to be build
another fleet.
But it's supposed to be the generalist to do everything, isn't it? That's the whole idea, isn't it?
No,
is it supposed
not,
to be
not exactly.
No,
not exactly.
Response.
I think the generalist hulls are meant mainly to get people up to speed. Get that generalist. Get in the,
doing chores,
the FM.
Doing chores.
Well, yeah, do the FM. You'll be able to enter into the FM, and then you go in the next step and the next step, and follow the flow chart that Raykin provided. You know.
Now, TSM, did you see the video of someone drying a Zelos in an A set?
I'm not commenting on that.
Okay, I was going to say it was pretty nasty. My personal thing is, I would prefer the 74 target to be the map one. But anyone I see that's saying, hey, should I get the Cannoneer or the Pride this raid? Instantly, I've got a copy and paste, I think, somewhere around here, of the reasons why to get the Cannoneer, because you're going to need that if these targets go to map.
Oh, without it's either that or you're going to take a lot of pain, yeah.
Has anybody on here besides Monster been using?
What can you use your base parts on once we've got all of your turrets up to 7 and all that? It's just swap out stuff on guns, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll just be switch outs, mate. It'll be switch outs of specials and switch outs of obviously the items, which I've been doing quite a bit lately, I must admit. So
Hefe's mic is going, but I barely hear him. I don't know. Is that an issue on our side or his side?
I'm not sure. Can you try turning it up, Hefe, mate?
Hefe,
He sounds fairly quiet to me too.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can hear him.
Hefe, say something, man.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but
Barely.
you're very faint.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
barely.
Let me do some stuff on my side, but
Crank it up a bit. But I think you were saying, has anybody else built them apart from Monster? Was that what you were saying, mate?
what I was saying is anybody currently using the ironclads in the raid, besides I think Monster, that's what you're using, correct?
Yes, mate.
Has anybody noticed just an incredible change in trying to use these in the A sets?
Yes.
I mean,
Took me one run of anything.
Yeah, I remember last raid, I didn't use my ironclads until really at the end, and I hit them with a 75, and I had a computer that only had 2 gigs of memory, and I crashed about a minute into it. And I was still able to come back in. It was getting fired upon the whole time by the big gun in the middle. And I came back 2 minutes later. It was fine. I was able to, with one ironclad, kill a 75. This raid, I had 2 of them. One with a new set with cannoneers. The other one was basically the same with Mausers. I killed 1 turret with 2 of them with a Highlander's nuclear cruiser. The difference was just night and day for me and my limited experience with it. I was just wondering, people that have used the ironclad in both raids, what their experience was, and I'll go on mute while I try to adjust my mic.
I'll adjust it from this end, Happy, mate. I think I could probably do it from here, mate. To be honest, let me just see if I can put you up. Have a go at that, mate.
Am I any better now? Am I better now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, much.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the disconcerting parts there is, I joked about it earlier, but Kixeye had said before the January raid that they weren't tuning it to Cannoneers and Millenniums, but the popular sentiment among the players is that just wasn't true, that you needed the Cannoneers and Millenniums. And now this raid is harder. The turrets have a lot more health. They deal a lot more damage. I think it took me about 15 seconds of pure shooting on the 75, the big turret in the 75, with 5 Cannoneers, Scold, all kitted out, and a Harlocks. 15 seconds to kill that center turret, and that should never happen.
I can't even finish the 75 with 3 Cannoneers with Millenniums, and everything's called out because it takes me 2-3 laps around it to kill it. That turret is actually keeping up with my Cannoneers, and it's got speed 5, and it's actually R10 speed 5. It's actually shooting 3 times and killing all 3 of my Cannoneers.
Wow.
Yeah, like, we were supposed to be able to outrun. Yeah, we were supposed to be able to outrun these things, and you can see it in the 100 as well. Especially, like, you're going around, you have to keep it at 100 range. So there's a certain, like, it takes quicker to hit you because it has to travel less distance, the shots. But you should still be able to, like, kite it and move around. And I have nuke excels and speed 5s and, the lot. And it's still hitting me, and I'm still dying. Do I have to put D2Vs on there?
Yeah, and
I will.
In the hundreds, I noticed too from about 6-7 o'clock position to about 10ish, 11ish, you have a much harder time to outrun them or stay ahead of them if you're even off a little bit. And it's that translation again to 2D to 3D, but it wasn't like that on the first day. I just that annoys me. Like, I can understand making the little center island turrets respond quicker and fire faster. I mean, I've actually had a couple of them fire while they were pointed away from me. But I got too close. I got shot. The big cannon, though, if I'm just getting in range to kill it, you didn't have to increase the splash. Honestly, you really didn't. Because now I just pinch it. I mean, hell,
Yeah. I mean, I've noticed. I mean, and I was doing some bit of gameplay earlier on. So, if you, I mean, just thinking of the arc concept. Obviously, if you're going from point A to point B, if you're turning as you're doing it, the splash is going to catch you. So I pause a lot of mine basically, and then basically I wait for it to fire, and I shoot forward, let it land, and then quickly turn and then cut in. Whereas if you do the arc and try and turn in a circle, basically you're doing the diameter and not the radius. Sorry, you're driving a radius and not a diameter, and you're not going to get so far. So the splash is going to snatch you every time much quicker. So that's definitely something to notice when. And do you know what? If you're doing the center turret as well, don't rush, because even if you do, you can just drive out the target and drive back in again, turn around and come back in until you're out of range. You haven't got to kill those turrets. They don't. If you kite them, they're not going to touch you at all. They don't do you any harm whatsoever. It's only those four that pop up in the middle that actually start auto firing. The other ones won't do it. They're not going to do any damage whatsoever. So don't rush if you're killing the hundreds and you think, my God, I've got to get that middle cannon that I've started to kill. It's half dead. It's going to start firing me, because it's not. And as I've said
beware of your positioning as well. That middle turret. If you get too close to it, that thing will catch you off guard.
Absolutely. Yeah, keep on full range. Yeah, you need to keep right on the sort of around about 98 and that stuff. And do you know what? To make it easier, pinch the bloody thing with a small pinch.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, honestly, just driving a giant circle all the way around it.
I think that hundreds like I did last time, in the last raid format, I find the hundreds far easier than anything else for points against time. Much easier. And I'm just clocking up using quick, making up sort of like 15 or so quick pinches, and then just doing the outside stuff, and then pinch in the middle. It's easier. Sorry, but
I still wish for a queue for our rockets. We could queue up like 10 or so rockets at a time.
We've got 25 rocket spaces, mate. What more do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, it isn't. Right. Okay.
I found personally my easiest approach, like you're hitting the 100s. I've been hitting the 73s, and I can hit about 3 of them, plus a little bit more in 10 minutes for no damage. And so I just tear through them and
that's nice.
Don't take any damage. And I mean, it's a lot of driving, but you end up getting 1.4 million for 10 minutes and no repairs.
Well, I mean, if it's 1.4 million for 10 minutes, I mean, that's looking good, isn't it? I mean, look at that for the hourly stats. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, that's
damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried the 74s with your fleet?
No, there's nothing special about my fleet. It's just, 4 cannoneers in the 70s, all cannoneers except for 1 Earthshaker. And it's just the way, I mean, my priority in the 73s is to kill the big gun. I go in, avoid everything else, kill the ballistic turret just to the south of it, and then just kill the big gun. And then, I don't have to worry about the nagging of the central turret all the time, and I can just methodically go through it and not have to worry about that at all. And it's a lot less stress once that middle turret's removed.
That's what I've been doing with my ironclads, mate. I'll go in and I'll kill that first, but I drop a small pinch as well, and then I just skate around and kill the rest of them.
Yeah, and the either the wrecking crew or what's the other one?
Demo squad, mate, works well.
Well, the demo squad is expensive. What's the other one I'm looking for? The one that just plus 19 damage.
Wrecking crew, and then there's the girl with the eye patch. I forget which one it's called.
No, the wrecking crew is the girl with the iPad, and that's eye patch, and she's plus 14.
Creeping death.
Yeah, the 40 minutes and gives you an extra 19% building damage.
Yeah, and that one works really well on the 73s, and that's basically what I've been personally hitting.
For a siege fleet, it's going to work great across the board, isn't it? It's great for hitting that sort of stuff.
Though I'm having withdrawals from my daily campaign.
I'm quite liking the fact that I'm not doing them for a while. I've still got 13 chests stacked up, so I haven't used them yet.
Yeah, but those little 1 hour tokens, if you build them up, it's perfect. We had an in sector in the in sector before the raid, and I was using those 1 hour repair tokens for the buildings, and I was just repairing my dock every time he'd come in and rock it, and it was pissing him off big time.
It's good fun, I must admit. I was just thinking of the crews. I had some crews stacked up. Let's have a quick look at my crew stock a minute. And I actually had, what is it? Here we go. What's this one here? So Deadeye Destroyer. Believe it or not, I've been using those a little bit as well because it's just something to get rid of. And I've not been able to use them on anything recently. But the 15% chance of critical hits. Now, I don't have to pause at all now. So when you go on the outside of the hundreds and obviously pick up the like scatterguns on the outside, and you normally have to stop because they swing around and get you. You don't have to pause at all. You can just drive straight through. And that crew lasts an hour. So in that time, I can go and do 15 or 20 hundreds, which is quite decent. I've used 2 of those so far today. In fact, I did someone's complete raid for them on co-op. And I just prepped, I think it was 20 or 30 hundreds for them and finished their complete raid by the time that crew had run out.
I'll be honest, I'm so bad with crews, man. I just keep forgetting to use them. I know I have them, and I have like 10 demo squads or whatever just sitting there not being used. And I always forget to use them. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be on, so I don't know if I'm wasting the crew or not, so I just don't do it.
Has anybody tried Fearless Blitzers with the Ironclads? Because that seems like a good combination.
I saw Caesar, everyone knows him here.
Yeah.
And I saw him using the Blitzer crew with his Ironclads, and it was actually doing pretty good. But of course, he's just farming Bs or the 50 sets and the 59s. Mm-hmm. But I'd say it may possibly work in A sets.
Yeah, because you get the double speed. Yeah, because you get the double speed for 18 seconds, and then which will help you close to the target, and then you got 11% chance for critical hits with cannons. So it seems like, even though it was created a long time ago, it's sort of semi-custom made for the Ironclad.
Now, in the sector I'm in, I'm seeing little Ironclad fleets all over the freaking map. Everyone's using them. I'm seeing more of them than Cannoneer fleets, and there's probably 10 or 15 newer players. I'm talking started in the last month or less, and they're actually farming out 30s right now, and over half of them already has the Ironclad going for the Mauser, or they're a couple 100K off the Ironclad.
Yeah, I mean, the points payout for them is very decent, I think, to be honest. And I can't remember, somebody had it in the chat, but basically said, for the low levels that he's spotting in his sector, he's actually just going to go and he's been and smashed just a couple of hundreds of them to get them free, because what is it, 1.85 million, I think, for each one that they get as a bonus or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do 2 of those for somebody, and they can get the Ironclad, and they can get the Zealous, or they can get the Ironclad and the Mauser and the all that sort of stuff. So that sets them on their way, really, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is I watched a guy, and I'm still laughing about this every time I think about it, is he was using a Sea Wolf with, he'd park the Scorpions last, but he would go in, drive around the Sea Scorpion in a circle. The large tower could not hit him, and the Scorpions were just firing away on the other side, and it kept prioritizing the Sea Wolf.
Really?
So he'd run around, dodge it, yeah, and the Sea Scorpions were firing into it. That's how he's been doing 30s the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, there's an interesting point. Yeah, that's right. I was just thinking. I mean, bear in mind. Okay, so we've got the component raid coming up and that sort of stuff, and obviously we know that the target is going to change for getting base parts and that sort of stuff. So, which the Ironclad was the go-to one for that. So apart from doing your base parts, do you think then it's worthy getting the Ironclad now? If you're going to gift somebody a hull today, would you gift them the Zealous, or would you gift them the Ironclad? Bear in mind the Ironclad doesn't have any thermal either.
I would say Ironclad, because in order to make the Zealous as successful and make it better, you need tier 5 tech.
You do, but you could put the Mauser on it still, couldn't you? Mauser's no less effective on the Zealous as it is on the Ironclad, is it?
I think it's slightly less effective because the Zealous doesn't have the splash boost that the Ironclad does, but it would still be a pretty powerful combination.
Well, the target doesn't have any. I mean, the ones that we're seeing for the map, well, that we're presuming are for the map, don't have a splash.
No,
issue.
Exactly. I mean, I would tend to get somebody the Zelos, to be honest, because the refits, if they're low level, the refits later on are so much cheaper as well.
Yeah, it's a longer term solution.
I just think if they're like, if you're guys helping somebody that's level 30 or something like that, and they're really struggling, and they've only got the basic Forsaken tech that they're researching, and you can leave, a nice big target there with just one wall sitting in it, and you could give them a hole, I know the build time's quite long for it, but the refit time, as they develop their tech and go through the FM and start growing, I think they might be better off getting the Zelos, to be honest.
Because it's going to be like the Punisher was whenever it came out, because you can use it for anything of any of your tasks that you need to do. Because I know they work great for like tanking in the Forsaken mission, also.
That and one Zealous is worth 50 of anything you can build in the Forsaken Research Lab.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
That and the Punisher was just a freak of nature.
I still don't think I don't think we've come to find the Zealous as of yet that much superior to the Punisher. Although I've built a Zealous. It is. Yeah, it is, because I've managed to do the whole weekly FM with one hull now. I built a Zealous as a tank, and I've done both runs with the same, no stopping.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the Punisher, but the
and
Punisher
no crew,
don't defied the laws of physics. Simple as
but the repair is expensive.
Yeah,
so then it gets repairs overnight.
The build time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to spend a week and change. A week for the hull and whatever else.
But it's a trade-off, isn't it? If you want to play your game, if you're a low level, you want to play your game for the evening, and then just put your game. If you're a non-coin and that sort of stuff, you just want to play as long as you can. For that evening, have some fun, and then put it away for the night, and then just next day come back and do some more stuff. I just think
pretty much what I do with my Tide Seekers. I go and hit a bunch of uranium or collect whatever I need to with them, throw them on repair overnight, and come back tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so we've got this new weapon, and I really am quite annoyed that the weapon and special for the Zelos is in tier 5. I think that's a real mistake, but that is where it is at the moment, and I know it's getting potentially looked at and that stuff. But then swapping that same hull out because it's got good deflection stats right across the board and that sort of stuff. Just to say they bring us a missile for it next, or something to do with garrison or something. I mind you saying that the cannon's still good for the garrison raid, isn't it? And obviously it's got its built-in countermeasures already, hasn't it? So, or potential slots for countermeasures. So, I don't know. I just don't know how flexible the Ironclad is, because we've only ever used it in the, the siege setup, haven't we?
Well, the main reason I built the Ironclad was because I was hoping I'd be able to auto, base part mines whenever they go to map and when they change over from this raid cycle and they put these onto the world map, I really wanted to auto it. And I have to sit.
Me too.
My cannoneers out. Like the Tide Seekers were posted to be an auto, right? So I built my Ironclads on that, reason. And if I'm honest, I'm very disappointed.
See, I plan on getting the Harlock Ironclad next month in the store raid, just in case someone figures out a way to auto whenever they do come into map. But I'm sticking right now with just my 3 Ironclads I built, and I'll just split them up in auto 97s as needed.
That's it. And I saw a video that Ren did about the comparison between using the Harlock Ironclad and not using the Harlock Ironclad. And in the scenario that he was running, which was hitting the 73, which we sort of assume is going to be, because the single point of entry, as George has said, the single point of entry for commencing the target, it really didn't help a great deal. Yeah, it got around the target faster, but obviously it doesn't. And that's what it does, isn't it? It gets you turn speed and it gets you, but if you're going to auto, it's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form, apart from by having an extra hull. There's no reload boost or anything like that.
Yeah. And it was still taking hits from the center too. It's supposed to speed you up, but it's not fast enough. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't see the worth in it. I mean, I've used one, I must admit, and for going getting base parts when you're doing the top level one, you can split them left and right, and then obviously you can get them done really, really cheaply. But we're coming to an end of that already, so don't know.
I mean, in theory, you should have a combat speed of 53.65 with the Ironclad, with the Harlock's Ironclad. If you have an additional speed boot, if you start off at 37, it's at one point. I did these numbers earlier. I was trying to decide if I'm going to go for, because I'm already building the Cannoneer right now, the Harlock Cannoneer. And trying to decide if I was going to go for the Ironside. But I calculated a number of 53.65 based off of my combat speed of 37.
Yeah.
And it's not that much slower than the Cannoneer, unless I'm, somehow this is getting calculated a little bit different, or I haven't seen that video though.
But it just outperform. Yeah, but it's just the Cannoneer though, mate. Does outperform, doesn't it? The Ironclad in A range, B DPS, with obviously the Millennium Cannon, that sort of stuff. Whereas we know the Ironclad is a bruiser and it's got a splash radius that it takes advantage of, but that isn't what's required for a 73.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying if they tune down that 73 so that the Ironclad, like, because I have a Howlux and an IC fleet done, and I'm really disappointed. And I'm thinking the only way that they can tune that down where the damage is quote unquote acceptable to that fleet, the Ironclad's going to stomp it without even taking any damage. So I'm stuck into how they could tune it to conform to both. Without giving the Cannoneer,
is like, for example, using the mines that we have currently, they could make that a 90 and have it so Ironclads can auto it. Like the 97, for example, you would need Cannoneers to be able to do it.
Or what they could do.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. They could do what's kind of rumored in the Armadas, and if they increase the armor by a whole heck of a lot so that you can't just run up and burst them before they start firing at you, then that may be, like, the damage would still be low, but you can't run in and auto them and kill them right away. If you're on auto, you take some damage, but the Cannoneers would still be able to move up and stop and hit them at the edge of their range and not take damage, as should be intended.
It'll be interesting, I have to say. I'm not quite sure it'll be a challenge for them, and that's the problem with all these different type of holes and that sort of stuff, and specialist holes, and I mean, I have to say, the Ironclad's got to be able to do it. The Cannoneer has definitely got to be able to do it, but so's the Zealot's got to do it. Otherwise, no one's ever going to build another generalist hole.
Yeah.
No one's going to touch them in the future.
Although, again, I think that the generalist hull is there mainly to get people up to speed. If you come back after 2 years and you get the generalist hull, you'll be able to have it. The applicability will be to more than one area. That's why it's generalist. You could have it for the FM, you could have it for the raid, you could have it for a bunch of stuff, chores. Whereas the Cannoneer, Ironclad, Tideseeker, they're all very specialized hulls. So I think that's the theory behind the generalist hull in reality. I mean, in practice anyway, that's what it's going to end up being.
So you were saying we're expecting too much from that hull, really?
No, I wouldn't expect them. I would not expect them to be top tier stuff. I expect them to be able to be very adaptable, though.
Yeah, I mean, what level actually? Does it? I can't remember. What tier does it state that the Zealot is? Is it a tier 3, tier 4?
5.5.
It's a 5.
Is it?
It's 5.5. I think the Ironclad's a 5. That's a 5.5. No, wait. I'm sorry. It's a 4.5.
Right.
The Ironclad's a 4. That one's a 4.5, and then the Cannoneer's a 5. If I remember correctly.
So technically, then it should be able to do the same level target.
Blueprint, and it's a tier 5 hull.
Okay,
is it a tier 5?
Then it should definitely be able to do a 73. Just on the theory.
Not from what I've saw.
But it should be able to.
Yeah, I think the guy, if I remember correctly from the video, I think it was on TFC, he was taking about an hour's damage per 70 target. Mm-hmm. That was with 3 of them with full tech.
Right, got you.
But that's only 3. I mean, 3's not going to have enough firepower to really. I mean, if you're going to be comparative to a 5-fleet Cannoneer.
Okay, I suppose.
I think.
I think what we're doing is we're being a bit disrespectful to the whole. We're comparing it. Like, let's go back to what I said. If you're going to gift a level 30 something, let's gift him something. That's only going to cost 4 million points to get it up and get him running. So a Mauser, a spare, the cannon system 4 and the Zelos. Getting those 3 things there, that hull is going to annihilate anything he was doing the previous months.
But will he have his dock up enough to build it?
Well, that's the thing you have to work on, isn't it? But then he can go and get some base parts, at least build one, and he should be able to go and get some base parts then to help him up, speed up his dock and that sort of stuff, So it may be slow and painful in the first 2 weeks, but after that, he should be able to zip ahead, and then obviously as he's building, he can increase his dock level, can't he? You know?
Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, I looked at one as a possible lead from our sits for the AFM, like, but it's an 18-day build, mate, and I don't know if it's worth it.
Well,
I mean, if the FM gets changed and all that sort of stuff, like,
which it should be after the next raid format, shouldn't it?
Exactly. So
we've got 4 months, and the raid FM will change.
Yeah. So,
and honestly, 18-day build for a Zelos, that's pretty much going to mean by the time you actually get some rank on it, you're not going to be able to use it in the current mines.
Exactly. So I think I'll wait, I think, just to see what it does get changed to, right?
The BP dilemma, eh? It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a thinker's game. It's great, isn't it? And we all have our ideas. It makes me smile.
Hey, let's hope on VXP weekend we get a preview of the new mines.
That would be nice. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it, to be honest? We'll see. Don't know. Okay, right. Is anybody got anything to cover? We're at the hour. Okay, we've had a good discussion on various little things. Some interesting chats going on as well in the sidelines in the chat itself, and a lot of people agreeing and nodding. A lot of people adding their weight to some of the information as well. So yeah, and Nick's got a point there. So that Doom did say that the Ironclad should be able to do the A sets, you know, and then basically his Cannoneers. Yeah, you know.
Said Punishers could auto B sets, and I can prove that wrong.
So can I.
I took 12 hours repair with my Punishers that were 99% ballistic resistant, and that was for one B set.
I was just taking his cynicism, mate. That's what I was doing. I was just having a bit of a smile to myself. That's all. Nick could appreciate that. Don't worry. I think we'll call it a night there, guys. We'll do an after show, obviously. For those that want to jump in or those that want to crack off and finish the evening, then have a nice evening. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for the panel coming on, and we'll say good night.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good night and good luck.